I've been wanting to do this video for a while. I've got something pretty cool for you today. A lot of people talk about goal setting and they focus on the goals themselves and how to do that and why to do that. But no one really discusses like how you're coming up with those goals, right? Because you have, let's say I want a GT40, right? Cool, that's one of my goals. I put it down. Maybe I do some things in my life or change some things in my life so I get there, but I really don't know why I'm doing that. So today I want to help you figure out your why, and that's going to help you determine what your goals really should be to get you there. So back when I was 29, I'm 41 now, somebody gave me a principle I'd never heard before. It was actually creating yourself as your future self. And this is where it gets a little interesting, and this is actually what changed my life completely and why I am where I am today. So I had people tell me, you know, at the end of the year, write down your goals, very important, we'll talk about that later. But I never had someone really give me the distinction of figuring out who I was gonna be when I was older, right? We kind of all go on this path on a daily basis where we're just trying to make ends meet, or we're just trying to do that next thing. And then we kind of end up somewhere in life that we really didn't plan on being or really know, you know, how or who we were gonna get there with. I don't even know what I'm saying right now. Miller, does this make sense so far?
Yeah, no, you're on track.
Okay, cool. I got Miller behind the camera and he's awesome, by the way. I'm gonna interact with him, especially in this segment, so just so you know. And the reason I brought a whiteboard is because I'm gonna show you what this looks like. So I'm gonna tell you about it and show you. So when this person told me to create myself as a future, I really didn't understand what that meant. And he goes, who are you gonna be when you're 70 years old? And I sat there, I'm like, I don't know, I'm 29, right? Well, that doesn't make any sense to me. And then he said, no, seriously, who are you gonna be? What are you gonna be doing? You wanna be in real estate, so do you have any investment properties? How many units? Where are they located? How much cash do you have in the bank? Who are you? Are you fit? Are you obese? Do you have a wife? What's your wife like? What are your kids like? How many kids do you have? Literally, my mind as he's telling me this is just blown because I'm like, I have no freaking clue. You kind of have a thought of maybe where you'll want to be in life, but we never really create ourselves as that person. So what I did was I created myself. Here's me at 29. This is my first time writing on this whiteboard from this position, so bear with me here, right? Here's my life. And hopefully I live past 70, but here's that magic 70 number, right, that he talked about. By the way, this was drawn by my, at the time, 3-year-old that I'm never taking it off this board, and he's 6 now, so I think it was 3 at the time, something like that. So here's me at 70 and here's me at 29. I got all this runway to go, right? And at this point, I was 4 years into my career in real estate, and I had my real estate license, and I was starting to set goals each year. Oh, look, stink bug. So what I did was I thought I had an idea of working with all these investors in my 4 years here of kind of what I wanted that to look like. So I sat down for like a week and I really planned out who I was gonna be. So who I am at 70, I have 1,000 apartment units. I had more than $1 million cash in the bank. I was married. I was in fitness, even at 70. I know it sounds crazy. I had 2 kids. Do you see where I'm going with this? And I started, and I'm not gonna give you my whole spiel, right? But I'm not gonna give you everything I said, but I'm keeping it a little generic for now. But what happened after I did this exercise and created myself as my future self was I started living to be that person that day at 29. So what happened is some people actually saw a little bit of a transformation in me. I started standing taller because here I am now at 29, a multi-million-dollar real estate investor. That's who I created myself as in the future. And then what I started to do without even trying was I started to take a different path. So I'm gonna use red. So the path I was on kind of looked like this before. I didn't really know what I was doing, right? So what I did is probably as I was coming down here, I started to redirect myself to align myself with the path that was required to take to get to this, to becoming this person. And what's crazy is not only was I on the path and starting to buy investment properties, even though I was scared to death to do it. We were at a brokerage at the time with my business partner, who's much older than me, and I was starting to see a partnership in the works. And as soon as I got that partnership, I picked us up and I moved us and started our own company. Again, scared to death, huge risk, right? So I started aligning myself with how I was going to finally become this person. And not only did I do it intentionally, but unintentionally. I was going out less. I was committing more time to reinvesting in myself and my education on how to own apartment units, how to curate relationships, to offer opportunities later in life, right? So you can see how my life literally made a complete shift. Miller, what do you think about this so far?
I like it. I like what you're doing with this.
Is this kind of a crazy idea?
Yeah.
Have you ever heard of anything like this?
No, I've not.
Right. So what I challenge you to do is and I'm talking to you, Miller, and you viewers, I challenge you to create yourself, and if you're older already, it's fine. Make this 70, 80, I don't know. Play around with it, but because it's never too late in life to start. But this is really where I had the ultimate distinction in my life, where my whole life became something that I never would have imagined. And just the confidence I have, women started taking me more seriously. Clients of mine started taking me more seriously. It was crazy to even feel the repercussions of this shift. So then what ended up happening was, I'm gonna use green because it's color money, because I didn't come from money, right? We had a lot of struggles growing up, and I had the most loving family in the world, and the support from them, which was fantastic, but we didn't have a lot of money. So money was new to me, but what ended up happening was I started getting closer and closer to this goal at 70 way sooner in life. There's a lot of things on my list that I created at 70 that I've already accomplished. The 1,000 units, I'm not there yet, but I'm getting close. I think we're gonna be at 250 plus units that we built from the ground up, actually, which is even crazier. And many tens of thousands of feet of retail that we own. So I'm still moving towards that goal, but I'm 41. I never thought when I created this goal or created myself as this future that I would ever actually be able to get there. That was the crazy part. And now I'm 41 and I'm almost there. So I challenge you to do this exercise. I challenge you to write it down and visualize it and take time to really create every single piece. I mean, down to like, what does your house look like? What is the layout of your house? I'll give you another example. There's another buddy of mine in Charlotte who in college, he not quite this, but he told me that his dream house he had a picture of on the wall in his college dorm room. And he built that exact house. He's a little older than me. And I've been to his house, and it's like exactly what he had on his wall. And because that's what he visualized, that's what he really wanted. And now it hangs up in one of his garages near, I don't know which car, it's either a Lamborghini or Ferrari. I don't know which one of his cars it hangs next to, but pretty cool. So I guess the only other thing I can add to this is what this will also cause you to do in what I do is every year I set goals for myself. This is the intentional part of this exercise. The unintentional part actually is just how you end up living your life differently. The intentional part is actually at the end of each year, set goals for that next year. Make them very unrealistic. Is there a car you want to buy? Put it down. And then all of a sudden you start thinking about what differences am I going to make in my life? What things am I going to change to be able to try to strive to buy that car this year? Am I going to buy a cash flow property that might pay for it? Am I going to quit my job and go aggressively try to get a better job somewhere else that's higher paying? Am I going to reduce my lifestyle and pay off my debts, focus on that so that I have freedom to take the risk to be able to get here? Do you see how that mindset starts to shift? So anyway, I hope you find this powerful. I'd love to hear in the comments after you guys do this exercise what you think about this. And I'm now going to embarrass Miller. Miller, do you have any questions since the viewer can't ask? Or do you have anything else you'd like me to add on this topic?
I don't know, but you've made some really good points. And I mean, I am already trying to think of things that I want to put on my list that I hope to have sooner than I'm 70. I'm already thinking about maybe I need to value myself more because I can make my 70 goals even bigger, like my 70-year-old goals even bigger. That way I'm so I could start them small and achieve them sooner, or I can make them so big that I'm like, I gotta do it. You just actually nailed such an incredible point, because when you're trying to set, let's say you're 29 years old right now, like I was, let's say, I'm just you viewers, right? And by 30, because they tell you to set unrealistic goals, just like I said, right? You're like broke, you have $0 and you make 30K a year here. And by 30 you say, I'm gonna be a millionaire. And it's like, well, that's pretty unrealistic, right? But if you create yourself, how many years is this?
41 years, right? I'm having trouble with math right now. So 41 years from 29, now when you set your goal to be a millionaire, or now you set your goal to be worth 10 million, you have 41 years to figure it out.
Yeah.
Doesn't that paint an entirely different perspective and not make you feel like you're under the gun right here? So now maybe if my goal is to be just a millionaire 41 years from now, I set goals to where maybe instead of 30,000, next year my goal is to make 50,000. And then at 31, my goal instead of 50,000, I'm gonna go to 65,000. And maybe I bought an asset of some sort. Or maybe I paid off my debt to 0. See what I'm saying? Because now, do you see how much easier that path is to get to there?
Yeah.
I already see your brain working. You guys aren't seeing him on camera, but I can already tell he's going home tonight to create himself as his future self. And you know what's funny is, remember how I told you people start to take you more seriously? People you interact with, especially like you, Miller, doing these videos and people you're gonna meet during this process of this YouTube channel, or when you're just out and about, you're gonna meet and actually talk to people differently. You're gonna start approaching people that are successful and having different conversations with them that you wouldn't have had before.
Yeah.
It's very interesting. I had the opportunity to meet Mark Cuban and sat next to him at a basketball game briefly. This was right before COVID. And I was like, what the hell do I talk to this guy about? Because he's on a different planet, right?
Yeah.
And because I kind of had this in mind, I started to actually kind of converse in a much different way than I would have if I didn't have this mindset, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Or like even the guys that I'm with all the time, all the Lamborghini guys, all the high net worth guys here in Charlotte, I interact with them differently. It's fun and games and we have a great time, but my interactions are much more mature than they would have been if I was, you know, dumb. I don't know if I can curse on YouTube anymore, right? So
we'll mute it. We're good.
If I was the guy I was before, right? Who didn't even take myself seriously. It's a whole different conversation now. So anyway, I don't want to keep beating the horse, but hopefully you guys got the point.
Absolutely.
Anything else?
I think you're good.
We're good?
Yeah.
Okay, stay tuned because I have a lot more cool stuff like this that we have planned to put on this channel, and I hope it inspires you. And if you have video ideas that you want to throw past me so that I can share my many decades of knowledge with you, put them in the comments below or send me a message on Instagram. A lot of you follow me, so I'm happy to do so. Have a great week.